In this video, I'm going to show you the top ways by which you can develop the following, which is a particular form of diagram which is called a Venn diagram. And the Venn diagram is really important in terms of showing comparisons between one particular character versus a different character. And so this here I'm going to show is comparing two things, and you can build on this, and the flexibility of a couple of the features that you have right here will be critical for you to be able to be successful in diverse ways of presenting a Venn diagram. So let's jump right into it. So the first way is by using a particular interesting features, which is on the draw. You have this particular drawing features here where you have a couple of inks. You can have a particular character that will be represented as, in this case, green, and we're going to represent these as, yes, focusing on animal cells. And the other one is using a different color for a different feature here, which is in this case written it as plant cell. And so the middle here, which is the intersection here, represents what these two they have in common. In this case here, you can have like a little color that has a blend of blue and orange. Let's just say red, for example, or let's pick blue. You can just have, for example, has a cell membrane, and on the other hand, when it comes to animal cell, you can have your points to be so those are the things to keep in mind in terms of how to develop a specific Venn diagram using ink features. Now the next one here is, how about we develop another type of Venn diagram using this particular feature here, which is in this case using the specific shapes that we have. So under shapes, what you can do is remove this right here, go to your specific insert, and once you go to insert, you have shapes. You go in there, draw your specific circle for one particular character, and then you just do Ctrl C, Ctrl V for the other character here. And the only challenge here is that, yes, of course, one, you have to change the color so that you have one that is really distinct from the other. And the other one here is that when it comes to what are the things that are in common, which is the intersect between the two specific sets, we'll call it in that case, we have to show that, yes, there is something that is in between here. And now for we to do that, all you have to do is, in this case, change the transparency of this color of this image here that is right in front of the other shape. And to do that, all you do is you go to, it is shape effect. So once you click on shape effect, whichever shape that you want, it doesn't matter, but all you need to do is go to the options. And once you go to options, you'll be able to have this on the right side pop out, and you can now figure out how to change the specific transparency. And so on the solid fill, you can change the transparency here such a way that you can now see, as you drag towards the right, you'll be able to see that as a percent increases, the transparency increases. And so that's the thing to keep in mind. Likewise for the other shape right here, which is colored green. For the green, what you do is you click on the green shape, and what you do is on the solid fill, you can change the transparency. As you move, you actually make it more transparent, and by so doing, you can now type in your information for your green. In this case, you have. And so as you move forward, you'll be able to add more information for your animal cell. And to do that, all you do is just hit enter, and you can now play around with the home page where you have your bullet point, and you can type in any information that you want for your animal cell. In this case here, we know that there is no. However, it is really challenging to set this up and format it in a way that it doesn't lean towards the center here. Likewise for plant cell. So this is really challenging to play around with, but once you're able to adjust and change the format, keep it more aligned to the left by clicking on this, you'll be able to have this to be established right here. And so by that way, you can now continue to type in other information. This for plant cell, all you do is move this further to the right by clicking on this icon right here, and then you continue by typing the following information that is relevant for that particular character. And so for the center here, all you have to do is just go on to your specific shape here. You have this icon that has a text box. What you do is you just drag, click, hold and drag just to keep it transparent, and type all the relevant information that makes both characters to be similar to each other. And those are the things to keep in mind in terms of how you're able to format this and develop it right here. Now finally, here is looking at how you can take advantage of a faster way to pull this off, and this faster way includes the following. Once you click open a new slide, you're going to use this particular click to add text box here and take advantage of this particular tool right here, insert a smart art graphic. And you can also gain access to this by going on to under insert smart art graphic, and you're going to have more options that are available to you. Now next here is, once you click on this, you have these diverse ways of showing that particular comparisons. Some of them involves in terms of listing, which doesn't really help in terms of comparing, but then as you move further down to relationships, you'll be able to have a couple of interesting things that align really well with comparison. Like for example, here we have Venn here, and once you click on this and click OK, we have our Venn right here. Now a couple of honorable mentions are as follows. The text panel here implies that we have the main points to show the three things that you're comparing. In this case, if you want to remove one, you just click on one of those, circle and hit blank space, and we have two things that we're comparing. Once you have this set up, another thing is that if you want to change the color, we have this already established here. You can click on this, or you have this right here, whichever one that pleases you, you go for it. And once you have that, the next thing here is to type your heading for that one character that you're going to comparing, which in this case is animal cell, and while on the other side here is plant cell. You have now for the animal cell, you're going to hit enter, and either you hit enter, which means that you're actually going to be continuing on the same particular point, or a better way is, if you want to show one thing that makes it different from the other, is by clicking on this particular add bullet. And once you click on add bullet, then you're good to go. So in this case, and then another one here is you hit enter and you continue not only looking at it here, but also looking at it right here. As you hit enter, you have your new bullet, and then it says here, likewise for plant cell. Now the one challenge here is that we cannot, it's really hard to show the comparison in terms of what they have in common between animal cell and plant cell using this particular format. And so what you do is you just follow the same way that we did on the previous method, which is, in this case, you go to insert, you go to shapes, and then you click on this particular text box. And once you click on that, you click, hold and drag, and once you have that, you can now type in your particular information. So those are the things to keep in mind. Other honorable mentions is that you can adjust the size, make it wider alongside that of the plant cell, and as you make this wider, it means that this individual ones, you can drag it to the point as well. Likewise for plant cell, you can click on the box and drag it as well, and by so doing, we can actually enable this to show properly the reading pattern for the intersection between these two. So those are the things to keep in mind in terms of creating a Venn diagram on PowerPoint. One is by using your ink format, the second method is by using shapes, and finally the third method is by using what? The smart art. Hope you found this really informative. Please hit a comment down below. Let me hear your thoughts about these 3 methods and which one you prefer. Which one do you think will boost your creativity in terms of presenting characteristics or commonality or differences between 2 or more features? And which one do you think is going to be faster for you? And many more things to come. All the same, stay smart as always and believe in yourselves.